Hey everybody, it's Ann Beebe. Today is Friday, October 11th, 2019. I'm Barb Hammer. I'm still doing videos on my bed because my ankle is still a little wonky. I was sitting in my office at my regular computer, but my ankle kind of hurts. So I try to keep it up still. I have done a little bit of walking and I still limp a little bit. It's getting there, but it's been a little over 7 weeks, almost 2 months. And I thought originally it was going to take a month for my ankle to heal, but it's getting there. I did more damage than I did like when I was 21. I sprained my ankle, but I think I pulled my muscle and pulled the Achilles tendon and sprained the ankle too. So anyway, I'm still focused on Hong Kong. There's lots of stuff going on around the world. I'm still watching Hong Kong. There's been some violence I want to talk about in conjunction with these Caucasians that you see directing the violence of the terrorists in Hong Kong. And I've talked about that, who's behind that. So it's not grassroots, it's astroturf. It is a color revolution. Anyways, I am a Canadian citizen. I'm born and raised in the US. I have dual citizenship. So there's an election this month in Canada, federal election on October 21st. And actually, today, the 11th, is the first day of advanced polling. Um, and I have already gotten in the mail my voter card. This is a voter card, and it gives you some of the information about the dates and the advanced polling and how to vote. And so you can use this as a partial ID, actually, this card. That's what it looks like. I don't really want to, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to kind of cover. Anyway, so that's so it says Elections Canada. Elections Canada. Elections Canada. Yeah. Anyway, and then in the mail or like junk mail, you get a guide to the federal elections. So I live in British Columbia. I live near Vancouver, and so it's a little guide, and it just tells you how to get ready. Make sure you're registered, and normally you register when you submit your taxes. So it'll ask you if you want to be registered, I think, or they automatically register you more or less. It's not a big deal. When I first became a citizen, it was funny. I walked up to these ladies at this registration table and I said, I'm a new citizen and I want to register. And they said, did you just turn 21 or 18 or whatever? And I said, no, they just, the thing of there's a lot of confusion about citizenship in Canada. So these ladies seem to think that anybody who legally lives in Canada can vote. And I've talked to other immigrants who aren't citizens, and they have gotten the same impression. And so it's kind of weird. Anyway, so this guide, make sure you register, watch for your voter information card, which is this thing, and plan to vote and find out who the candidates are and bring your ID. And there is advanced polling starting today, several days before. So the official date of the election is, I think, Monday the 21st. It's the 21st. I think that's on a Monday. And there was something passed called the Fair Elections Act, and I actually think it made it a little bit harder to vote, especially for Indigenous people, because they don't often have official ID to show. But anyway, so when you show up to vote, and I've noticed the poll workers aren't always very well informed because I observed on behalf of a Green Party candidate the polling in the last provincial election, and they weren't doing it right, and they were asking for too much ID, and they were discouraging people, and that is voter suppression. And I have seen voter suppression in Canada. I have experienced voter suppression at the last federal election 4 years ago. So you can show like a driver's license or other government ID that has your photo, name and address, or you can show this voter card and then show a bank statement with your address or some other utility bill or a utility bill or a student ID or something like that. And if you don't have ID, you can get someone to vouch for you, someone who does have ID, someone who can vouch for it. You don't have to fill out some form or something. But anyway, that's technically how it's supposed to work. But my big thing is this is the first time in a Canadian election since I qualified to vote as a citizen. I'm not voting anymore. I decided it's a waste of time. And that is since last year. I was a Green Party member provincially and in the federal party. And I realized they're just a rebranding of the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party, which are basically in Canada, the Conservatives would be like the GOP and the Liberal Party would be like the Democratic Party, but they're both corporate centrist, basically. You know, one's right of center slightly and the other's left of center slightly. That's all. Anyway, so I realized that the Greens are not a progressive party, not at all, and most of the membership actually comes from the Conservatives or the Liberals, and the party leader right now, Elizabeth May, who is a Clinton crony. Yes, she's proud of the fact that she's friends with Bill Clinton, and she knows Hillary, and she's an American. Her family moved to Canada when she was a teenager, and she started her political career in the Conservative Party, actually, as an advisor or something to a cabinet member. Um, so yeah, I'm not voting anymore, and I have already decided I don't vote anymore in the U.S. either, and that is since 2016 when I saw how fraudulent that election was, and I realized what a fraud all the elections are in the U.S. So I don't vote there anymore. So I'm I'm a proud non-voter, and this comes from someone who was very. I made a point of voting. I thought it was very important, but I don't completely turned off from voting, and so I'm saying this because in Hong Kong, I'm watching Hong Kong, and I have these images up. So here's a Hong Kong and Canadian flag. So I wanted these images. Yeah, so so the Hong Kong flag is this flower, I forget the name of it, and there's the Canadian maple leaf, and I like this image. So so in Hong Kong they claim they want liberal democracy. Yeah, they want liberal democracy. And they want freedom, democracy, and human rights. Well, supposedly we have freedom, democracy, and human rights in the US and Canada, but it's basically rapidly becoming fascism, neoliberal, globalist fascism. So that's my thing. I'm gonna change the lighting here a little bit. I can change the lighting a little bit. Yeah, to suit me. Anyway, so I'm not voting anymore. No. And so I want to just sort of, that's the thing. People in Hong Kong, they think, oh, we want what the West has, democracy. Anyway, so let's see, to begin. Oh, no. Okay, so yeah, my thing is Cthulhu. So I'm not voting next year in the U.S. in the primaries or the general election. So there's this Cthulhu. I don't know how you pronounce it for America. So Cthulhu is my candidate. He's my idea of a candidate. So yeah, vote for the evil. Vote for the evil. Vicious, eternal, deadly. Yeah. Oh, this is a funny site. It's a very funny site. Anyway, that's my endorsement, I guess. Um, so I watched this week. There was the federal election leaders debate a few days ago, and I watched like half of it afterward, and it was just very tiresome and very predictable. I do agree with a few things that some candidates say. Let's see. Let me show you who the party leaders are. So there's actually one national party that has appeared on the scene since the last election. So we have here's Justin Trudeau. He is the prime minister because his party in the last election won the most seats. So there are 338 seats in the House of Commons in the Canadian Parliament. And so the party needs 170 seats for a majority. Yeah. So you take half, and so they need at least half, or one seat more than half, I guess, probably. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, it would be one seat more than half, so 170 seats for majority, and then there's Andrew Scheer. So the two main parties, it goes back and forth federally. Liberal conservative Andrew Scheer is the Conservative Party leader, and then sort of a third party is Jagmeet Singh. He's the head right now. He's a practicing Sikh. Wears a turban, and so he's the leader of the New Democratic Party. And then here's Elizabeth May. She's the head of the Green Party. And so here's the new party is the People's Party of Canada, and the party leader is Maxime Bernier. He's from Quebec. He has a French name, and he used to be actually in the Conservative Party, and I think he was even a cabinet minister. I'm not sure. I think he was. And then there is also there is in Quebec a federal party which is separatist called the Bloc Québécois, and the party leader is Yves Francois Blanchette. Yves Francois Blanchette, and um, whenever I watch the debates, actually, the most intelligent debater is not an English speaker, or his first language isn't English. It's always the Bloc Québécois. It's always interesting. Now, I don't always agree with everything, but the Bloc Québécois seems, in a way, the most populist. They do have a position I don't agree with. They have a new law against religious head covering for civil servants, and that's just for new civil servants. It's not for ones already working in civil service. Anyway, it's kind of a because it's sort of this French thing. They don't like. It's basically discriminating against women, Muslim women who wear the hijab, but it would apply for Sikhs or practicing Jews who wear kippah or whatever head covering. But yeah, I don't think that can even wear crosses. I don't think civil servants can even. They can't wear things that have a religious symbol or something. I don't know. So people have said, well, would they do that for nuns? Nuns basically wear something similar to the hijab anyway. So right now, so they have the number of seats. So um, the Liberals, I guess currently they won 184 in the last election, almost 40% of the vote. They have 177 seats now. They lost a few. There's some that are independent now. There was a big scandal. I've talked about that in another video. I'll give the links. The SNC-Lavalin scandal, which isn't a scandal. And then the conservatives got like 31%, almost 32% of the vote. They got 99 seats. And yeah, they have 95. Oh, they had 90. That's weird. Okay. So yeah, it's always going to be between the liberals and the conservatives, and the polling is pretty close. So the Green Party, they have 2 seats. They had one. There are by-elections. Yeah, that's why some of the number of seats since the last election have changed because of by-elections. So the Greens have um they have 1 seat. Maxime Bernier, I guess he has his own, he's an MP, I guess. Yeah. So he's from a part of Quebec that's very business friendly. So he's libertarian. Oh yeah. So Maxime Bernier, People's Party is libertarian. Oh, they have some positions, so they're very much free speech, and I support that. They want controlled immigration, which is very interesting, and Maxine. So that's considered hate speech, is what. So actually, Jagmeet Singh did not want Maxime Bernier to participate. He didn't want him allowed because he said his views on immigration. So there are a lot. There's sort of this politically correct position in Canada that they want open borders. They want, let everybody in. Yeah, let everybody in. So, and there's some pushback, and this is the problem. I would normally probably support the NDP, but Jagmeet Singh and that party, they are have some views that are too close to the Democratic Party in the U.S. It's sort of fake left, so they don't like hate speech. They want to censor hate speech. There's actually a new digital charter in Canada, so they're going to censor online content. And so the polling, so it's interesting. They have some sort of, they have, this is this talks about the SNC-Lavalin scandal. So I don't really pay attention to all the party politics. It's just ridiculous. It's just a circus of distractions. So that's why I'm not voting. Um, it's just crazy. So they have some of the what's been going on with each party for this election, and I had a run-in with Elizabeth May at the last federal convention. She didn't like me heckling her. Yeah. So there's some other smaller parties, and so there's a lot of information here. Oh yeah, climate change. Wow. Yeah, climate change. Climate change. So it's all about climate change. If you don't believe in climate change, you are in trouble. Um, yeah, so there's polling. The polling has been, if I can find this, hang on. Yeah, Politico. So there is actually, Politico is a US site, but they have the latest. So this is the latest polling from the 7th. So it's a dead heat between the liberals as far as percentage in the polling, 34%, and 14% for the NDP, 9% for the Greens. Is that the bloc? Oh, the bloc. So they only have candidates in Quebec. The People's just 2%. So they're because I would say the People's Party, Libertarian, they would normally vote conservative. So the conservatives would have a slight advantage in the polling. So it's probably going to be. It's looking like there's going to be a split vote, so there won't be a majority. There probably won't be any party. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd be surprised if the Liberals get another majority. Um, I'm guessing there's going to be um, minority government, coalition government. So it's hard to say. The Liberals might squeak by and be able to form a government with the Greens or something. I could see that. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Um, Maybe with the NDP. I don't know, but coalition. So it would be a coalition government, and those don't normally last long. And usually, it means there's going to be another election soon. Soon. Um. So what else? What else? What else? So um. Yeah. So the Hong Kong protesters, they want like Western style liberal democracy. And you can see they wave these American flags. They wave the British flag. Yes, they wave the British flag. But they have no idea. This is not well. I mean, it is color revolution, so that's why they're waving these flags, and it's about legislation that was they want to pass in the Congress and sanctions against China. And anyway, so there are some Canadian channels that will talk about. I don't talk about Canadian politics too much. Every now and then. So there's this one crazy lady. Um, There's a crazy lady here called Amazing Polly, and I say that the thing about what's amazing about Polly is that she looks like a Stepford wife. I mean, she just does. And so it's all very clickbaity. You know, she's just an idiot, and she just spouts all this right wing stuff that's just stupid. And I think she looks like a Stepford wife. And here's some images of Stepford wives. So here's a good one. Yeah, that's Amazing Polly. She's a Stepford wife. Other channels. So there's another stupid channel I've talked about, the Serbs, and they think they're really far left, and they're just basically identity politics morons, Democratic Party morons, and they love. I guess they would go for the NDP, I guess. And they've done stuff about hate speech, so they don't like hate speech, you know, which is just anything you don't like is hate speech. Okay. And they think they're all socialists. There's nothing socialist about these guys. They're just a joke. And their humor is lame. They're just idiots. Just stupid. Another channel that's just really dumb, um, and doesn't really inform you about Canadian politics or any politics is this rational national guy, David Dool, or David Tool is what I would call him. So he ran as a Green Party candidate in Ontario, and Amazing Polly, she lives in Ontario too. And the Serfs, they live in BC. I know they live in the Vancouver area. So, and the Rational National, his politics are just, you know, Democratic Party identity politics, and it's just idiotic. So he gets a huge following because he talks about Bernie Sanders and all this bullshit. Yeah. So he did a thing about Canadian leaders debate. I don't know. I'm not wasting my time watching these guys. He's an idiot. You know. I don't know. It's really disgusting. The state of left. So as far as online content, I know this lady Penny, and I think real name is Rose. Anyway, so she's got this great blog, and she's very good at a lot of geopolitics, but she will talk about Canadian politics occasionally. And I don't know, I found this post of hers. So she talks about yeah, she mentions Maxime Bernier. Maxime Bernier. She said so. Oh yeah, this is funny. So Penny is funny, or Rose. Um, she says the state of free speech in Canada is abominable. Abominable. You can have all the free speech you like if it coincides with elitist agendas. If not, you got nothing. Yeah. So Polly's good. I agree with. I mean, Penny's good. Sorry, not Polly. Penny's good. I like her blog. She's very good, and she is very smart. She knows Turkish. She knows, yeah, she knows what's going on in Turkey and Syria, and yeah, I like Penny. I'll give a link to Penny's blog. She's very good about it. So she will occasionally talk about Canadian politics, and I did cite her work when I did the thing about the SNC-Lavalin scandal. Because we agreed, you know, that was not a real scandal. It was punishing a company that had done business with the Gaddafi government. So that is the state of Canadian politics. I remember there was something else going on here. Yeah, Chitulu. Yeah. Or I don't know how you pronounce. So anyway, if they were a Chitulu party in Canada, I would vote for the Chitulu party. But you know, these Hong Kong protesters, they have no idea. Or people who kind of buy into the protests, or actually it's terrorism, rioting. Um, you know, if they think there's democracy in the U.S. and in Canada, they are sadly mistaken. Oh yeah, the thing about Hong Kong is I've learned the biggest expatriate community, or people who have foreign passports, Canadian in Hong Kong. Yeah, and I forget, several hundred thousand. I forget, 200,000, 500,000. A lot. It's a lot. 200,000 maybe. I have to look that up. But yeah, that's the largest group of people who have foreign passports, Canadian. Yeah, because a lot of people from Hong Kong, when they were afraid about the return, Hong Kong being handed back to China, they came to Canada. And then when they realized everything was okay with the one country, two systems, they went back to Hong Kong. So anyway, that's it for now. So Canadian election, you can go suck it. I'm not voting. I might do a video that day and just kind of show the election day. And I'm not voting, and not voting in the U.S. election either. And I talked to my husband, and he was going to vote, and he listened to the local um, candidates debate, and he said he's not voting either. And by the way, interesting fun fact is the uh, local debate for the candidates was sponsored by the business community, the local chamber of commerce, the South Asian Business Association, and the Real Estate Association. Isn't that interesting? The business community sponsors the local debates. So what does that tell you? Yeah, that's the thing. All these parties, they're all business parties. So that's my thing is there's no difference between the parties. They're all corporate. They're all corporate, and that's why I'm not voting. Canada, people in the US think, "Oh, we need more party. We need more parties. We need more selection." No, that doesn't make a difference at all. Makes no difference at all. Anyway, so that's it for now. So because I've had problems with the software that I use, I'm going to let this record for a little bit longer. And I'm sorry. I will just show you the different pages, tabs that I have. Um, and I'll just let this run for a little bit so I don't get cut off like I have before. Anyway, I will be talking about Hong Kong more and other things. I have some very important things to show about some attacks, some violence in Hong Kong, and these Caucasians who are directing the violence. Anyway, so that's it for now. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon, and this will keep running for a while. Okay, bye.